What's up, guys? Don't mind me here. I'm just, recording a video while driving. What could go wrong, right? But I've been thinking a lot about kind of how we should approach practice and how we should think of training, right? And I think it's really important to kind of reframe how we tend to view practice. What I'll say is the goal of practice, the goal of training is not to win. Like, if you're walking away from a round or you're walking away from practice just thinking about how you beat everyone else or you beat someone else, like, there's a little room for that, right? Where especially when there's a skill disparity, right? And someone is better than you, and maybe you had an outright victory, a submission, right? But you also maybe you just had little victories, right? Like, you were able to re-guard, you were able to get a sweep, you were able to survive a little longer, whatever it is, those little victories. I'm not going to take that away from you at all, and that's absolutely healthy. But what I mean by this is, if you're only going into training and only going into practices and rounds thinking, I'm here to win, right? You're thinking of what the purpose of practice is, like, all wrong. The purpose of practice is to improve. It's not to win. You don't win practice. We're all on the same team, Like, even though you walk out on the mats by yourself, when it comes time for a competition, we are all on the same team. So the goal of practice isn't to win and make your partners lose, or worse, injure them, things like that. The goal of practice is to improve. And I think that's really important for us to think about is, like, if I'm just doing the same old stuff over and over and over, like, maybe I'm incrementally, marginally improving at the same old stuff. But once I've gotten really, really good at the same few moves, like, I'm not really, like, going to get massive performance increases at those things, right? But there's a whole aspect of other things that I'm not improving at if I'm just winning with the same old stuff over and over. I even think about myself. I tend to win rounds, get submissions, get, whatever, using the same old things over and over and over. And that's a bad habit, because how am I going to grow in the areas where I'm weak if I don't approach practice with, like, being willing to lose so that I can improve, right? So if you approach practice with the mindset that you are unwilling to lose, you're unwilling to ever give up top position, you're unwilling to get submitted, like, whatever it is, you're unwilling to be mounted, period. Like, how will you ever improve in those positions? And, like, the best way to improve in anything, right, but especially, like, even anything in jiu-jitsu or out of jiu-jitsu, like anything in life, is to spend a whole lot of time on the problems, thinking about and experiencing those problems and those solutions, right? And so in jiu-jitsu, like, spending a lot of time with people on top of you is what helps you understand and understand how to get out of it and be comfortable when someone's on top of you. Like, almost anyone in the room, right? Like, I often start rolls with people on top of me. I start a lot of my rounds pinned, right? And that was, I made that shift a couple of years, 2 or 3 years ago. Like, I just started starting like that because I realized, well, I'm not going to get better at getting people off of me and pin escapes if I don't, let myself get pinned. Okay. But this is true. And sorry, but, sample size of 1, but most of you who've rolled with me know, I'm difficult to pin now. Like, I'm very difficult to pin for a long amount of time. Right. And that's because I've spent so much time being pinned and starting that way. And not just, like, muscling out the same old stuff, but just, like, exploring the position to see, are there other ways out? Like, what else can I do from here? So we need to apply that to all aspects of the game, right? Be willing to lose, be willing to be mounted, be willing to have your back taken, be willing to just get choked, right? Like, be willing to lose, because in your mind, don't have the mindset of I'm here to win. You're going to competition to win. You're in practice to improve, and the main way we improve is by spending a whole lot of time on one specific thing, and increasing the resistance and the variability of that thing, right? The resistance against the thing we're trying to do, and the different reactions that someone is giving us with a lot of resistance to not allow us to do the thing we want to do, right? That is what actually is going to stimulate growth. It's going to make you better at something. And the more time you spend there, where you're exploring and you're spending more time figuring out like new ways out of things, the more time you spend in any given position, the more that you will be able to confidently and competently talk about it and communicate it to other people, so that you can say, yeah, this is exactly what's going on when I'm in side control. Here are the things I'm thinking about. Here are the concepts that have always served me well in my escapes. Here's what I'm doing, right? So please think about that as you approach training. Approach it with you're not there to win, right? We're there to improve, and then we improve so we can win when it matters, right? And it matters. It does not matter in the training room. Nobody cares, right? And nobody should care who's winning practice, right? If you're winning practice, like you're losing, all right? Like, we're all there to improve so that you can win when it counts, which is in competition, right? Or I'm also not going to say, like, some of y'all don't compete, and that's totally fine. But my point is, have your rounds set aside each week or each month, whatever. Where, like, have a few rounds where, like, you both agree, your partner and you both agree, like, okay, we're actually, like, going to try to win here, right? But also be willing to do way more rounds, not that way, like, approach way more, like the vast majority of your rounds, 90% plus of your rounds throughout the month, approach them with the mindset of, I'm willing to lose, I'm willing to tap, I'm willing to get swept, I'm willing to get mounted. In fact, I'm going to invite it. Let's start the roll with you in a fully locked arm triangle, and I'm just going to find a way out. Let's start the roll with you with my arm extended for an arm bar, right? Be careful with these things, okay? Please be careful with these things. And that kind of related to all this, not only are we not there to win, we're there to improve. The way we do that is also making sure that it's not just about you improving, it's about your training partner improving too. So, two primary things that we do for that. We, first and foremost, and most importantly, we always aim to keep our partners safe, okay? So if my partner gives me a fully extended arm to start a round, I'm not just gonna crank it over my hip. Like, I'm going to try to use all of my means of control to glue that elbow to my chest, glue that arm, that wrist to my chest, and then I'm going to maintain that control while I gradually apply pressure over a fulcrum until they tap, okay? I'm not just gonna take it and just start yanking on it, okay? If you're doing that and I see that, I'm going to be very upset, right? Probably gonna kick you out of the gym, right? If I just see you cranking on somebody's arm, especially when they started around like that, okay? It is your job to take care of your partner. Secondly, a lot of your rounds, when you really start thinking at a high level, it's not just being willing to lose, but it's also being willing to to give good looks to your training partner. Like it's like a dance where you're both giving each other certain reactions, right? You're both leaving things there for the other to capitalize on. Okay, and this requires, especially like, I mean, really at any level, it requires taking the pace down, right? Because especially the newer you are, the much less likely, like it's like the newer you are, the more just like stimulated you are during a roll, you know, because everything is new and novel, and you're just trying to make sense of it all, and everything's happening so fast that like even at a slow pace, you might feel like everything's happening too fast. You tend to notice a lot less information when you're rolling, when the newer you are, right? So you have to decrease the pace even more at those levels if you want to get the kind of rounds in that are going to help you to really start to improve and identify things. Because it's going to take you, you know, if I leave my elbow out there for you to set up an arm drag when you're playing butterfly guard, the newer you are, the longer I might have to just like leave it out there until you finally recognize, oh yeah, there's an extended arm and the hand has crossed my center line. I can arm drag from here, right? So just be mindful of these things. Like, we're looking to take care of our training partners. We're looking to not necessarily win. We're willing to lose. And we, we are, lost my train of thought there for a second. And we're looking to be a good dance partner in those types of rounds. The rounds that really matter, right? The rounds where you're just going all out and you're just trying to win, they really don't matter nearly as much in terms of your improvement, right? They're good like stroke of the ego, to know, like, you know, if you go in there and smash someone else and get your submission, whatever. It's a good stroke of the ego, but it's not actually, if you're not losing practice, you're probably not improving, right? If you're not even and I'm not saying even like getting submitted. My point is, if you're not 1,000 little mini battles happen in a 6-minute jiu-jitsu round, all kinds of battles. And if you're not losing a lot of those battles, you're probably not improving, or you're not going to improve nearly as much or as quickly as you could have if you're just focused on winning every little battle. All right. So video is running a little long. I just wanted to put that out there. That's, I think that is a really, really important way to approach practice, approach training. And if you feel the need to win, then you need to be there for the comp rounds and you need to be entering the tournaments, right? If you feel the need to win, you know. But we're all on the same team. We're not here to assert dominance, any of that kind of stuff. Like, we're all training partners, and that is, I think that is the best way to view practice. It's the way that every like high functioning team, elite team out there, it's the way they're functioning. No one's trying to just be like top dog in the room all the time. It's okay to lose. It's good to lose. It's good to give up position intentionally for the sake of skill development. All right. Anyway, that's it. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your questions, or your objections, whatever. Let me know, and I'll see you in the next one.